No, there was this very interesting moment when Kramnik chose to be black against Magnus in the time memorial. When he had a chance to choose white.
Okay.
It was very interesting. Because he was claiming that the tiebreak system of the time memorial was that who has more blacks wins in case of a tiebreak. So it was kind of a strategy, but since he lost...
So he took one more black in the World Tournament.
Okay, but now it started. So d4.
But no Grünfeld. No Grünfeld. We have Werner Hook exclaiming. So we have, how is it called? Colle or?
Colle, I think it's Colle, yes. Basically, we can see that Magnus prefers a slow game.
And he takes. This is the main move here. He will develop his pieces easily. There's always a question for black whether he should play h6 or not.
Yes, this is always a question, but actually it's quite interesting to see that how quickly they are playing this position.
Well, they basically know these are the main moves, more or less, after c5, and very logical way of putting in your pieces for both players, I think.
Yes, but if it would be a classical game, I would not be surprised if both of them would have spent a couple of minutes for each of these moves, yeah? Because there are so many subtleties, but during a blitz game you don't think of those subtleties, yeah? You want to make quick decisions.
Yeah, just put your pieces on what you consider right squares.
Knight a5, this is also typical. Try to play a Spanish game, but e5.
e5, yeah. So he wants to remove the knight, the bishop on c4 with knight a5, and Magnus says, I don't mind. I'm going to take back with the knight.
Yeah, okay, now knight g4 is... but knight takes e4, yeah, e takes f6 is met by e takes f6.
Or you can take on d2 maybe, and then f3 is hanging too.
Yes, also.
With a check. But e takes f6.
But basically, okay, it's clear then that white has to take back with the knight. Knight takes c4, but this case black can play knight d5.
Knight d5.
And then black has a perfect game with the light squared bishop. So maybe e5 was a over-ambitious reaction,
So knight d5, centralizing the knight seems the best, and then the bishop can be developed. Two nice squares, there are many of them.
But this is very important because after bishop e6, white can play queen h4. So black was not in time to include h6, bishop h4, when he would get a fantastic position. Like this, this is a very messy position now. Queen h4, f6, the players have to calculate so many critical lines, bishop h6, g5, and rook e1, but now black gets then h6.
He wants to play h6, it's now.
But okay, h6 can be met by bishop d2 and then queen h4, and there are always some problems with the h6 pawn, yeah? How to protect it.
Yeah, now g5 wouldn't be as good as in the previous game.
Exactly, yeah.
So maybe just put a rook on d8.
Or also maybe b5 is now possible, just to ask the question for the knight on c4. What you gonna do? Okay, rook a8. Now move queen h4.
Well, Boris plays very good natural moves.
Yeah, but sometimes natural moves are not the best. But this is the problem with Blitz. You don't know, you don't have time to realize what is best. Yeah. I mean, now for example, bishop h6 followed by knight g5 looks quite scary. But probably bishop h6 he wants to play f6 to get stability.
And that's another, good point of rook e8, his last move, that the bishop will be protected after the exchange of pawns on f6.
Actually, instead of rook a8, I was considering rook a8 with the same idea to play f6, but of course, in long terms, rook e8 and rook a8 are much better plays.
There is an open file.
Exactly.
f6 is coming anyway. Now the good point of having played rook ad1 is that he can bring back the bishop to c1 if he wants and keep everything open.
Yes, but okay, he wants to go bishop h6. Now g5 is met by knight takes g5. And fg5, queen g5, and white would win. But of course black is not obliged to commit suicide with g5. Bishop h8.
Yeah, h3.
HC, but it also shows that white doesn't really
Doesn't
have
have
any
a plan.
target, what to do.
But this is a useful move anyway. But and he's down on the clock, so he thought, okay, I'm gonna play a useful move and see what happens.
Exactly, and also give a pass to black. Okay, please show me. You're really gonna play b5 or not? But I mean, okay, b5 is really so natural.
It's also very important for Carlsen not to take yet on f6 to keep this pawn for as long as possible, probably, because the bishop on h8 plays a lesser role, and the rook on e8 as well, and this pawn on e5 gives white some space.
Yeah,
some
exactly. I mean,
activity.
basically, this is his only plus in the position to keep the tension as long as
e5
possible.
has come,
b5.
yeah, so planned. And of course, he's not going to mind if black takes now the pawn on e5, because the pawn structure is completely spoiled, and the square g5 is now available for knight. So black is going to keep this there, bishop f5.
Actually, I think black's problem is that he has such a nice position, but he doesn't know what to do with it. And this is sometimes the worst thing that can happen in Blitz. You know that it's good, that's why you don't want to make a reflex move, because you want to make the best move. But finding the best move and the best plan is not easy.
White also has to watch for tactics here on the knight e4 with the d file.
Yes, I mean, maybe some knight g3 or rook d2.
Knight g3 seems very sensible.
I mean, just to kick the bishop back, and even some knight h2, knight g4, but it's also not clear where is this knight h2, knight g4 plan going.
But then after knight g3, maybe g5 has to be taken into consideration. g5, the bishop can be dropped back to g6, and the queen has...
Yes, but then some direct, I mean, forced lines, queen h5, bishop g6, queen g4, and then white can try to break with h4.
It's true also, yeah.
So bishop c8.
Time is equal, 1 minute 10 each around. So this knight on d5 always
Is a bit loose, yeah. But okay, bishop b7 looks like a natural move to get some stability. And now maybe next black can consider knight b6, just to release the
if he
the
can
pressure.
Exchange queens, then he will
Exactly.
be doing well.
h4, so Magnus is coming,
He
h4,
wants
h5.
to go back to g4 with the queen
Exactly.
later.
It's a very complex game.
Yeah, I really liked black's position before. Now I start, well, if I were black, I would be a little bit scared about what can happen.
Yeah, now also some ef. So if queen e4, then f7 check keeps the structure.
Yeah, bishop takes f6 is quite nice.
Yes, actually queen takes e4 was just a mistake, because then knight takes e4
Yeah,
would win a
and
pawn, and then
c5,
c5 pawn was hanging.
So now he keeps queen. Probably he feels that black's king is a bit weak with this pawn on g6, which can be disturbed by h5. So that's probably the reason why he keeps queens.
Yes, on the other hand, of course, the black queen is also perfectly placed on c6, so it wasn't an easy decision.
Yeah, but an endgame would probably not be very nice
Yes,
for him with the two bishops.
definitely, and also he lost the first game, so he has to keep chances,
Indeed.
I don't know, bishop g5 looks sensible. Try to change this bishop, because the bishop on f6
He's a good defender.
Yeah, keeps everything together.
Pawn on e7 too. But then after the exchange of bishops, there are tricks with knight d2 maybe.
Yes, but then some queen takes e7, then suddenly...
Both
kings are vulnerable. Who's Magnus down to 4 seconds?
Yeah, he has to hurry up. Queen c2.
He wants to go knight e4 without changing the queens.
That's true.
But he was forced,
He doesn't succeed, His position is not very good. So he's trying to bail out.
Yeah,
now
but with
if
2
he moved the
seconds,
queen
it's
to
very
b6 or
difficult.
something. Okay, he didn't do it.
No, but now the tension is on because they will never get extra time. They can just
Yes,
live
they
on
are-
this time.
Yes, they are double.
They can try to survive.
Look back to b2. So he's going after the pawn b2. Looks to me like
Bishop
a draw
a3,
is,
great defense. Great defense
a
finally.
draw is likely, although he can still play c4.
Yeah, but now it's so little time.
Don't go to c7. Well, he might easily. c4.
Yeah, now the main task is not to lose on time for any of the players
It's
because
true, yeah. And Boris is down on 2 seconds.
yeah,
Uh,
so
they
draw.
made a draw, yeah.
Yeah.
And have a laugh after the game because it's such a situation.